to look at some wonderful Quanoners in the UK and what they think about Q and Trump and why this desperately needs sorting out, and we need to find out who is behind Q and put him in front of everyone so the world can see in dirty and clear.
I believe that we're going through a tyranny as bad as Hitler's Germany. I'm standing up for my child's future and all the kids' future, and what I'm seeing being pushed on us has got nothing to do with health, and that's why I'm here.
Since 2017, the Quanon extremist ideology has connected and developed a wide web of conspiracy theories. The central claim of the movement is that former President Donald Trump is fighting a deep state, secret cabal of Satan worshippers who traffic and abuse children. This is, of course, not true. But while this radicalized movement was formed and shaped in the crucible of American politics, it's also now found a foothold abroad, including in the United Kingdom.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm not bad, thank you. How are you doing?
If you believe Trump is going to save us from paedophiles when he hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, you need help. I mean, there are things that state lies about us, you know, it just happens. You know, like you send over spies, do this, they do all sorts that they lie to us about. This is true, but a giant league of child traffickers that, you know, is just rubbish. There would be some evidence somewhere, and as of yet, Q hasn't shown any. Have you, Q? Please come forward, Q.
Doing?
Annie Kelly is a writer and researcher of far-right digital movements, including QAnon in the UK. I asked her what makes British QAnon different.
The relationship between American QAnon and British QAnon is really interesting. At first, we had a really similar digital culture of QAnon. It kind of followed the similar pattern of Trump fighting the deep state, and it felt almost kind of like a copy. Over lockdown, it's really shifted. It's become much more rooted, I would say, in British culture. I sometimes even say, you know, it's got a bit more of a British flavour now.
British QAnon followers have been energized by the rejection of coronavirus precautions, lockdowns, and vaccines.
Just say they're a group of people that don't like being told what to do. So, as an excuse, they'll come up with rubbish. So they don't have to do what they're told to do because they're babies. And they sulk.
As in the US, but with one crucial difference.
I would say the most significant difference is how non-partisan it seems to be. It really doesn't feel like it's connected to any kind of political party. It's not as if QAnon in the UK all thinks that, you know, Boris Johnson is secretly working behind the scenes to stop the deep state or anything like that. In fact, he's, you know, really heavily villainized. I don't think there's any UK politician that they don't view with mistrust.
Over the course of the pandemic, Britain had intense and prolonged lockdowns which lasted many months and were meant to curb a devastating death rate. Anti-lockdown demonstrators have gathered each month in order to protest these restrictions.
And by gathering, they kept us longer in lockdown. So if you shut up, put up, and go home, we'd be out of lockdowns. And we wouldn't be going back in one very soon. Got a sneaky suspicion on that one, because coronavirus is real.
These demonstrations have brought together many different types of people. Not everyone at these rallies is there because they see themselves as a devoted follower of QAnon. But the marches do draw many people who carry QAnon-related signs and share QAnon memes online. These marches also draw many people, and particularly women, under the banner of Save the Children.
Just protest against the lockdown and the totalitarian country this is turning into now, and just for our children's futures, my grandchildren's futures.
That's the whole idea of lockdown, is to save the children. We are not totalitarianism. We are far from it. We were one of the really lapsest lockdown countries there was. I mean, it was pathetically locked down. You want totalitarianism, that's what you're actually asking for. Because that's what Q eventually is totalitarianism. It's eradicating your ability to vote for anything other than the right.
I am here for my children because they're coming for our children next. They started trialling it on the children and children are dying. There's children in America that are doing the Pfizer trials and they've died. I'm here today for that.
The Save the Children conspiracy, which has nothing to do with the established British charity of the same name, is a large part of what drives British QAnon and rallies like the one seen in London. And it's partly inspired by stories of actual child abuse scandals in Britain.
There have been, just in, recent memory, some really kind of horrific crimes that, really stay in the public memory. And so it feels like Save the Children has especially blown up here because it's capitalizing on an obsession and anxiety that already exists.
Content about QAnon and Save the Children conspiracies finds its way to regular people on Facebook and Instagram in groups about parenting, yoga, spirituality, and other lifestyle interests. These kinds of spaces were quick to pick up on QAnon content and help to radicalize women in particular.
Basically, our
Facebook
liberties and our
mongrels.
freedoms are totally trampled on. And there is actually no evidence to say that lockdowns work, masks work, or the vaccination works. In fact,
You need to get inside the mum groups on Facebook and, dare I say it, multi-level marketing companies selling essential oils. You really need to get in touch, get a hold of them. Especially these companies selling, these multi-level marketing companies that have their sales reps on these groups selling essential oils. They need dealing with. This is how you deal with QAnon, you shut it down. But you haven't shut it down, you just said, oh, it's crazy. Well, it is crazy because there is no definition of what QAnon is. So QAnon is everything to everyone that they want it to be. And that's what the problem is with QAnon.
vaccination doesn't work, because if it worked, we wouldn't have to wear masks, we wouldn't have to socially distance, we still can't travel, or we have to take tests. So what's the point of any of that? It doesn't make sense.
Lies.
So I think it probably is through social media sites where you're constantly being fed this sort of kind of smorgasbord of content, this kind of drip feed of various bits of content. A picture of my friend and her baby, picture of my friend and his dog, this kind of strange thing about, sexual trafficking cabals and satanic rituals and stuff. That's weird. And quite often I don't think they were necessarily looking for a conspiracy theory. I think it more happened by a kind of drip process through what start out as kind of really normal channels.
The way that QAnon has adapted to exist in Britain as something apart from Trump and Trumpism may give some clues as to where the movement goes next in America.
One of the ways I think that it's been so clever is the way that it doesn't attach itself, like lots of conspiracy theories do, to just one event in the past. It's not about like 9/11, the moon landing, JFK. But QAnon sort of offers you like a lens to everything that's happening as it happens. It kind of attaches itself to things like COVID,
everything to
theories.
everyone.
It attaches itself
and nothing
to whatever the kind of political
to
landscape
everyone
is.
at the same time.
Some version of it will exist, probably until someone turns the internet off. But in terms of whether it will be recognisable to us as QAnon is probably a really interesting question.
QAnon is just this massive ball of nothing. And everyone's putting every conspiracy theory into it until it makes no sense. Even from a conspiracy theory channel. Oh dear. I think that's about all we're going to stream for today, so I'll see you later. Goodbye.